What's up YouTube? Welcome to today's new video where I'm going to be taking you through a full day of eating. This is going to be refeed style. I'm really excited because I haven't had a refeed in 8 days and I am dragging very hard right now. My sleep the last few days has not been great. So let me set the scene here for you. I'm currently just a tad under 4 weeks out from my pro qualifier. So pushing and grinding hard to bring in that extra tight conditioning is essential right now. So I'm trying to refeed as the least possible that I can. I'm not necessarily behind in my conditioning, but I'm trying to get this done and over with as quickly as I can from that perspective, because I also am going to do a qualifier a week before that show. So I'm 3 weeks out of that. But before I eat any food, I want to show you guys what I do right out of bed. So it's 7:30. I mean, I've been up since 6, but I really just got out of bed and showered and came down here. But the first thing I do is, before I do any caffeine or anything like that, is I use this product called Relight, which is electrolytes. I will put that in a shaker of water. So I'm just going to do 1 scoop of this. Now, you know, when you wake up in the morning, I've talked about this in plenty of videos, you are dehydrated, okay? Especially, to be completely transparent with you guys, because of where I am in prep right now, I am using Tren, and that causes night sweats for me. I am using a very low dose, but even at that low dose, it is still causing me night sweats. So I sweat out quite a bit overnight, and I wake up and I can just feel how dehydrated I am. So I put 1 scoop of that in there, and this formula is just excellent. It has everything you need in it: calcium, magnesium, chloride, sodium, potassium. You need all electrolytes. It's about a balance. So then what I will also do is I do 1 capsule of this KSM 66 ashwagandha. There's also 100 milligrams of theanine in this. So I do 1 of these, okay? And then I do another separate capsule of theanine, which is 100 milligrams. So I take these 2, and I will take these typically on the days I'm going and doing cardio stuff. What I'll do is I'll wake up, do everything I'm saying here, and then I will go for a morning walk around like my neighborhood. And that'll take me probably 25-30 minutes, gets me like 3,000 steps. I'm doing a total of 15,000 steps right now. Then I'll go actually do my cardio. And as I'm going to do my cardio, that's when I have my caffeine. Okay, so that's why I've been doing it. But today there is no cardio. I'm taking a break from that. I'm also bringing my steps way down to like 6,000 today. So basically, I'm gonna try to push this first meal back to like 9 a.m. or so. So what I'll go do now is I'm gonna journal and get some stuff done for this morning, and then I'll show you guys that first meal. Finally, it's time for meal 1. Just got everything done. So I'm gonna flip the camera out and show you guys exactly what I have here. And with all these meals, I'm gonna post the macros on the screen so you can see how much there is per meal. And then make sure you stay to the end of the video, because then I'll put the total daily macros at the end. So let's see what we got for this meal. So let's start with this first. So this is 60 grams of cream of rice with 125 grams of a mixed berry medley. Frozen, I mix that in there once it's done. There's like 2 stevia packets in here, as well as some sugar-free syrup on top of that. Really good like that. There is 6 ounces of egg whites in here, 2 whole eggs, and I just topped it with some hot sauce and a little bit of this popcorn seasoning. It's like a sharp cheddar. It's super good. I can actually show you guys that in a second. And then we have 4 pieces of this lemon blueberry toast with a little bit of sugar-free jelly on there. So I'll show you guys the macros, and then here's the morning sups that go with that. But this is meal 1 about to go down. Also, I wanted to indicate, like, this cream of rice that I'm eating right now, I'm going for as low fiber foods as I possibly can, because as you'll see at the end of the day, there's a lot of carbs in this day. So the more fiber, like, I've pretty much removed all my veggies and stuff throughout the day, so I just have more room to actually eat more starchy carbs. And so I could build up those glycogen stores and refuel myself versus opting for fiber. Now, obviously fiber is very important in your diet. You want high levels of it, especially when you're dieting, because it'll make you feel fuller. But we don't want that today. We want this food to sit very easily and process very well. It's time for meal 2. My energy levels are so much better now after that first meal. I can feel it really starting to get in, and that's just how these refeed days work, especially on rest days. I really prefer to do refeeds on rest days. That's my number 1 choice typically, and most people wouldn't think of that, because they're thinking, you know, you think, well, you're not expending all this energy, and so these carbs are just kind of sitting with you. Well, that's the whole point. Carbohydrates are getting stored in glycogen for muscles. They're not getting stored in your you know, body fat, right? Now, fat has a lot higher chance of being stored as body fat. So that's why you'll see the fat sources I'm using today are the least likely to be stored as body fat, and that just depends on the type of fat it is. So let me flip the camera around and show you this meal, and I'll explain the rationale behind it. First part of this meal is there's 350 grams of jasmine rice right there. There is 20 grams of grass-fed butter, and then 115 grams of chicken, 2 slices of sourdough toast, which, by the way, I fried it on a pan, which is the best way of doing it in my personal opinion. It gets a really good texture with that. Now, as I said about the fat sources, so grass-fed butter is actually one of the best to use because of the type of fat it is. It's one of the least likely to be stored as body fat, okay? When you're talking about fat sources like olive oil, as good as they might be for you, for actually your health and stuff like that, I'm a big proponent of olive oil, but actually has a lot higher likelihood of being stored as body fat. So obviously when we're doing these refeeds, we don't want to store body fat. We want to load both intramuscular triglycerides, which is where the fats are hopefully going, and we also want to load carbohydrates, right? So you'll notice my protein amounts are a lot lower than normal. So like in this meal right here, I would typically have 180 grams of chicken. There's only 115 grams because we're bringing protein way down, fats are up, and carbs are up. So I'm gonna eat this meal and I'll check back in with you guys for meal 3. Meal 3 about to go down, and I'm doing it outside because it's a beautiful day and it's good to get outside. And meal by meal, like I just told you guys in that last clip, feeling more alive, and this one is gonna be special. This is probably my favorite meal of the refeed day. Typically this would be my pre-workout meal, but I'm doing everything exactly as I would be as if I was training. So let me flip the camera on and show you guys this. You're gonna love this. There's a little treat here. So let's start with the more boring stuff first. This is 100 grams of cream of rice. There's only 1 scoop of white isolate in there. It's chocolate peanut butter flavor. There's 100 grams of strawberries, and then 55 grams of apple. And then, oh sorry, also there's 30 grams of nut butter in there. And then a blueberry muffin here from Dunkin' Donuts actually. So I will total these macros and put them right here so you can see that, or somewhere around here. But this is nice because this feels like a treat, especially the muffin for sure. This is typically what I'd be having, like I said before I go to the gym, but I'm trying to keep everything exactly constant. This stuff is both done for the purpose of refeeding and, you know, restoring leptin levels and glycogen, as I mentioned, but it's also too to knock stress off. That's another big reason why you should do it on a rest day, or you can do it on a rest day, because this is just gonna fill me up and get me like moving towards, you know, good training for the week. So I'm gonna eat this meal, and there's 2 meals left after this that I will show you guys. I'm cooking some shrimp now. By the way, Sam's Club is definitely the go-to. This 3-pound bag was, I believe, $17. I mean, shrimp does go a lot faster, just simply because the same amount of protein for something like chicken, you just need more volume of shrimp, which is why it's also good to eat. It's also more filling when you're dieting and stuff. But the reason I even turned the camera on to talk to you guys right now is because of the fact that I just woke up from a nap. Today's a lot different because I haven't done cardio. I'm not doing any steps or anything. I'm literally just resting and eating. And people are very afraid to do that when they're prepping. But you have to know when to pull back and when to push and all that kind of stuff, right? You got to give your body some balance, or it's not going to give you any return. Trust me on that. You'll hit a wall and you'll just keep, trying to go through that wall, and nothing really changes. So that's why for me, I have to do these like very aggressive refeeds, and then I can push really hard, and then that runway to push really hard as you get closer, as you get leaner, kind of shrinks a little bit when I'm in that 4-week out range. So I went 8 days without a refeed between the last one and now. Realistically at this point now, I'm probably gonna have to hit a refeed every 3 days, 4 days, just to keep my body churning correctly. But when I took the nap, like I was just talking about, I woke up and I was soaked, like sweating really, really badly. And that's actually a very good sign. That means that my metabolism is handling this food excellently. So I'm very happy about that, although it was very uncomfortable. But the other thing that's happening today that's a very good sign is I'm peeing a lot, which means my body is dropping a lot of stress and water off. So a lot of times what will happen is you might see the scale not move when you're prepping or you're doing a fat loss phase because of the fact that you are just holding a lot of stress and water, right? Like I'm doing over an hour of cardio a day, and it's intense cardio, right? And I'm doing 15,000 steps. You're training hard, you're dieting, you know, you're hard, your sleep goes down. So your body is just going to have more stress no matter what you try to do. I try to do a lot of stuff to circumvent that with supplements and meditation and breath work and all this different stuff. But the body can only, you know, withstand so much. That's why you have to pull back. These are good signs that I'm experiencing today. So I'm very happy about that. But also, too, before I make this seasoning, which I also picked up at Sam's Club, it's a brown butter roasted garlic. I'm putting that right on the shrimp, is absolutely fire. So I want to make this. When I'm done with making this, the shrimp will be in my next meal, and I will show you guys that. Meal 4, doing it outside again. So I had quite a spread of stuff here. Let me show you guys. First, let's start with the more boring end of things. There is 200 grams of rice in here, 20 grams of grass-fed butter, and 170 grams of shrimp. The next item on the agenda is a mix of fruit. So there is a combination of pineapple, cantaloupe, honeydew, and mangoes in here. There is a total of 180 grams of this. And then there is a bagel here with some sugar-free jelly on it. It's actually cinnamon raisin bagel here from Dunkin' that I picked up earlier when I got the muffin. I'm actually really excited because there's quite a spread of food here. And that's the biggest thing, guys. When it comes to carbs, you can mix and match all kinds of different stuff. You know, I had programmed in here for myself because I'm coaching myself 350 grams of rice, and then it was like 20 grams of honey. And then because I'm not training today, I would have an intra-workout shake with 30 grams of carbs. So the meal really accounted for like 150 grams of carbs. So I just cut the rice down, put some fruit in, put the bagel in, worked it in. It's exactly the same macros. So that's really all that matters when you're carb loading and you're refeeding. It's just about getting the carbs in your system. And with how insulin sensitive my body is right now, like this is all just going right where I want it to go. So I'm gonna eat this, and then there's only one meal left after this. How depressing. All right, guys, last meal of the night. So let me flip the camera around and show you. It's a little bit of a, I don't want to say a mess, but it's not a mess, but let's see if you can make it out. So in this bowl, there is 100 grams of ground beef. There's 350 grams of rice, 20 grams of grass-fed butter, 80 grams of sourdough, toast right there, and there is like popcorn seasoning on top of that, which I know sounds crazy, guys, but it's literally so good. Then on here I actually have General Tso's G Hughes sauce. It's absolutely remarkable. So you can see the macros for this meal somewhere on the screen right now, and now you will see the macros for the full day somewhere around here. And with that, guys, I'm going to eat this last meal and get to bed. It's been a great time showing you all this food I ate today. I feel so much better than when this day started. Like, I can't wait to watch back and see how little energy I had, I should say. So thank you guys for being a part of this video. I will see you in the next one. Have a great day or night, depending on whenever you're watching this.